The Twitter question that came through was, how can network journalism help tackle climate change?
Well, I think in several ways. The most obvious way is that it can spread news about climate change far more broadly than it otherwise would reach. It was just in the traditional media. So by using online tools, Web 2.0, social media platforms, they can reach new audiences, more diverse audiences that might not otherwise get news about climate change. But the other way that often doesn't receive as much attention is that the journalists themselves, the people who are producing news and information, can use network journalism to access more and different kinds of information, because climate change is such a huge topic. And it's everything from agriculture to forests to oceans to business to energy to economics, and it's really a lot for any one person to grasp. But by using networks such as networks that we've helped create at the Earth Journalism Network, journalists can get access to their peers in different parts of the world. They can get access to experts who in their own part of the world who they may not be familiar with, and try and get a sense, a good feeling for the information that they can then broadcast themselves.
And just for today, just one more question.
Go on.
For today, what are your takeaways from this discussion panel? What are you going to take away from this today that you've learned or that's been interesting for you?
Well, it's this sense of, how do we? One of the key things I'll take away is the issue of how do we help with quality control of network journalism, because I do believe one of the major problems with social media is that if anyone can contribute, then you're going to get cases where misinformation is put forward or even disinformation. And that can be a real problem with an issue such as climate change, where it can end up confusing the public. So what I believe is that we have to, come up with rules for the global network that hopefully don't bring us back to the old gatekeeper approach, that have a more bottom-up approach where the journalists, the participants themselves can help regulate themselves. But we do need some kind of approach that will turn what is today in many cases an open access resource where anyone can say what they want or can put forward whatever views they feel like, into a platform that's more like a commons, where there are rules that people abide by and make sure that the information they put forward is fact-based, science-based, and responsible.
Your main point you take away from this panel?
Yeah, so a key issue going forward will be how to maintain quality control when using network journalism to broadcast news and information on climate change, because there is a lot of cases of misinformation and disinformation being put forward without being checked or vetted, and that can be really damaging to the public debate. So I think what we need to do is just as we have to do in with the environment, with natural resources, is turn what is now in many ways an open access regime, where you have this global network of information flowing around the world that's really, anyone can contribute to it, which is great, but that also often leads to irresponsible things being said, and turn it into a commons, what we traditionally think of as a commons, where everyone can access it and use it, but they behave according to certain rules, and they put forward information that is science-based, fact-based, and responsible. And if we can turn this open access regime into a commons, then I think that will be a really big boon to the whole climate change debate.